Jab as well, working off the jab there, Hilz.
Hilz is throwing that. It's a nice right hand he's throwing there. Tommy, she's
and a good shot there from Turner.
She's bowling it over. There it is
again.
Shot again. There it is again.
Right over. Scored him twice.
It's a good shot. He landed on the temple, that one. He's looking for the next shot. And it's good to see.
There's already marks on the face of
and there's a cut
Turner.
as well opening up there, Tom.
And if you catch it again, he's in trouble here.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
And the referee snaps
He's in there.
Welcome to another Liquid Bullet Productions. With us today is bare knuckle boxer, Mr. Paul Hilz.
Thanks for having us, Lloyd.
Yeah, thanks for coming on board, Paul. Can we just start with what you've been doing during the lockdown?
Well, we've been in lockdown over a year now, Lee. I was obviously meant to get this British title fight originally when the first lockdown came along. So I was in camp, mate. I took one of my sponsors that I've got to really be thankful for that. They got me equipment to my house, got me an assault bike and this, that and the other, so I had a gym away from the gym as such. So I stayed in camp there all the way through. I got online with my team that I work with at Box to Burn, with my members there, and sort of interacted with them and trained with them through lockdown. So we stayed totally active, mate, and switched on.
Yes, you've been training all the way through.
Mate, yeah, non-stop.
I've just got your fight record in front of me, just going to read that out. Unlicensed, you've got 18 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Pro, 3 wins, 3 losses. Bare knuckle boxing, 4 wins, 1 loss. Could you just talk us a little bit through that?
Yeah, I started down licensely. I didn't really know where it was going to take me. Just like we all do at some stage in life, if you're a man in certain circles, you think, I want to fight, and I want to be a boxer, see what that's about. Jumped on it, got the buzz for it, mate, and I steamed through the unlicensed scene, not really knowing where my journey was taking me, just really enjoying the training and the sort of journey. Then I turned over pro again, didn't think that was possible, made sure it was, worked for it, turned over professional, had a little goal that we sort of exceeded, and then pushed for further and further goals in professional, but at 36 at the time, I couldn't quite cut the level I wanted to in professional. So we retired, and then the BKB come along.
And done another pro.
Yeah, well, I jumped on that.
Do we just get a little bit of a brief history about your upbringing and stuff?
Born in Basildon, born and bred boy. Yeah, I sort of, as mad as it sounds, I love Basildon. You know, I loved it as a kid growing up there. Moved to the country at an early age. I think I was about 6 or something, up in Lincolnshire. And that's actually the first boxing gym I went to when I was 8. got punched in the nose, got nosebleed, and then I went into the next boxing gym when I was 28. So it took me,
Quite a big gap
took me
between
20 years to get over that nosebleed, and then we moved back to Essex in my teens. Usual Essex situation when you're a teenager. Me and mum and dad didn't live together, so I was left to sort my own devices, turn into a toe rag like most of us do. That's the honesty. Yeah, and then took one path in life of one way, and then found boxing later on in life at the age of 28, and then started taking it serious when I turned professional at 34, and then my life sort of took another path,
Yeah. So what sort of made you get into the fighting? Is there anything that inspired you or started it off?
When I was younger, my dad used to watch Marvin Hagler, which is a great boxer, a great fighter boxer. And I used to watch him thinking, what a tough man, and as a kid you look up to sort of these bigger men thinking, could I be that strong or that tough or whatever. So I've always had that sort of drive to want to be, like the thing that you picture as a kid, like He-Man type thing. Mike Tyson got me like everyone did, years ago because of his aggression and everything else. Never really had the drive for boxing. It was taken, my actual first sort of drive for anything like that, Lee, was weight training. I wanted to be as big as a house sort of thing. I got to 18 and a half stone I was, pumping weights, thinking it was important. It's not important, especially not for your health, and other aspects in life. And then obviously the boxing just, when I tasted a little bit of what boxing can do for your life and for just your well-being and the adrenaline of testing yourself. It's the ultimate test to put yourself fighting someone in front of hundreds or thousands of people. It's the ultimate test, Lee, and it got me, you know what I mean? It really got me. Yeah, and that's
yeah.
it.
So can you just talk us through, so obviously you started as a white-collar amateur,
Yep.
and then as you go into your pro.
We never really had any, we never had no amateur or such as white collar. I was on the door and Carlton Leach he was having a fight with, I think it was John someone who was one of them was Millwall, one of them was West Ham.
Tony Denham, was it?
Tony Denham, I was going to say John Denham, it's
Yeah.
Tony Denham. It was it was a massive show, right? Because I was on the door at the time. You probably remember it though. It was at the Troxy Theatre, massive thing. I was doing security at the time. I thought I was the toughest man alive, sort of thing. And I spoke to Carlton, and he was like, I was like, yeah, I like this boxing thing. He's like, why don't you fight on my show? And of course, just up for it, you know what I mean? Thinking that what I knew fighting was about, to be fair with you, Lee. I was like, yeah, fucking right up for that. Jumped at it, didn't care who I was fighting, this, that, and the other. I did train for it, but I was just doing pads with sort of one man. I didn't train how boxers should train, Lee, cardio, diet, none of that shit, you know what I mean? I just done pads, thought I knew, like I say, what boxing was about. Took the fight on Carlton's show, so it was that big thing of everyone was there in front of a fucking couple of thousand people at the Troxy Theatre in London, and it was a great show. But my opponent pulled out on the day, still not too sure if that was genuine, still not too sure. They come through on the night and said, the boy you're fighting is a fella called Paddy Wright. Didn't really say nothing about him. Fella who fights Paddy Wright, blah, blah, blah. Now, me knowing a little bit about fight, Lee, anyone called Paddy normally that's a fighter, 9 times out of 10 they're a traveller, right? Boxing, it's not really a great thing for a stepping fighter. This is going through me. But I thought, fuck it, I've trained hard, I'm going to stick with it. So we took the fight, we just said, yeah, we'll fight whoever. Now, Paddy, so I found out, had been a professional boxer and lost his licence due to some discrepancy with the police. They'd withdrawn his licence, and it was his first fight back, sort of getting back on the mix of things. There's a little bit of a story to it, but whatever, yeah? I didn't know this at the time, just took the fight. Paddy educated me so hardly, so hard on fitness, the jab, right? Punches in bunches, like honestly, anything you might say to someone about boxing, you should do this, he fucking showed me exactly what I should have been doing. Of course, me being Mr. Tough, I bit down on my grum shield, tried to just take his head off. At one time in between the second round, I actually caught him square on the button, and I thought I had him, but what he done, he stuck me on his jab, got his composure back and carried on boxing my head off, sort of thing. I lost on points, no shame to be fair with you, I didn't get mugged off at all, I really fucking fought my heart out. But it didn't matter. With someone who's got educated in boxing, that fit, he knew exactly, he knew what was what. And he showed me what a real boxer is, even though it was only an unlicensed bout. He just showed me the difference between fighting and boxing. But it got me, didn't it? That was it. I was fucking hooked. And that was it, mate. I took a fight for Alan Mortlock on the IBA show. And I was fighting out at Southend Boxing on Westcliff Road. Yeah, and we was there, and that was it. The journey started there, and it went from there to professional, and then professional to BKB.
So you already won a title in was it amateur boxing or professional?
It was. We won on the Allen show, which was the unlicensed. I won 3 titles there. I won a London Pride title. I won the British cruiserweight title. And then I won the European Cruiserweight title. And again, even though it was unlicensed, the boy that I fought was from Malta, ex-professional, and I fought him over 10 rounds to win the belt. So it was, even though people say it's unlicensed, it's still a good test for yourself, you know, competitive fight like that. So I won 3 belts on Allen's. Then when we went professional, our goal was to have a 3-round fight, 4-round fight, 6-round fight, and then hopefully maybe fight for, at the time it was a Masters title, professional. It didn't work out like that. By the time I went professional, I was now fighting for things called challenge belts. It's a form of a professional title. When you're sort of doing the rounds, 8-10 round fights, you then can fight for this, like the British challenge title and whatever else. So we set our goals. Well, we went professional, had one fight. Of course, I got the buzz for that, and said to myself, right, I want to set my thing. I either want to be a sort of like an opponent to a title fight, go as you know, not the journeyman, but go as, you know, the sort of underdog, if you get what I mean, Lee. Or try and win one of these titles. It just wasn't going for us the plan that we had. So we ended up doing a 4-round fight, then an 8-round fight, and then a title on the 8-round fight, and I won it. I won the European Challenge title. Against Lewis Van Pooch, which is a journeyman. He's had over, I think, 150 fights. But he come to win that night because I had no great record myself. And they basically said to him, like, Lewis, like, go and try, you know what I mean? Go and do your thing. And he did. He dropped me in the 8th round. It was a great little battle, yeah, because obviously I didn't come from much experience, Lee. So Lewis has had great experience, and his boxing clever was really making me fucking work for it. And then when he dropped me in the 8th round, I really had to dig in, and I won on points, and we managed nicking the European Challenge title, like professional. So we was really, really happy with that, you know. No, sorry, it's not the European, it's international, the International Challenge title. And we got out at professional level, so that was buzzing. And at 36, Lee, you know, which was a great thing. Did not start boxing until I was 28, mate. Then 36, you know, we nicked that title. It still weren't enough for me.
Is that something you regret now? Do you wish you started earlier, at an earlier sort of age?
Yeah, but I don't believe mentally, Lee. I don't believe I really sort of become a man till I was sort of 28, 30. You know, I was built like a man walking around, you know, 18 stone. And I thought I was, I thought I was a geezer type thing and all that. But in my head, I think I was lost. I think I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Full of steroids, full of the door, the shit that comes with the door. You know, I had a lot of doors on Canby, which ain't exactly the most fucking people-friendly place. I come from Basildon.
Been fighting every night.
No one liked me anyway, and then I'm turning up saying, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can imagine, you get what I mean? They all hated me, and to be fair with you, Lee, full of steroids, I loved it, loved the hate, and I wanted to go against them even more. Lucky I didn't get killed, do you know what I mean? That's the truth of the matter. Lucky I've come away from all the situations. I've had some terrible turnouts on the door. And I'm lucky that, you know, I've got my senses to sort of, you know, have the experience and know better as such, you know.
Move on a bit.
Yeah, move on to better things like my fighting, mate, you know.
Yeah. Who in your own opinion has been the toughest opponent to date?
It's probably got to be Tom Stokes, but I believe that was due because I made middleweight, Lee. I made middleweight when I was professional. This is what we could go and bang on about all the actual journey I took. But I wanted to fight for a sort of another title, even though I'd won against Pooch, professional. My trainers and that said, we don't want you to fight. I just weren't happy with, you know, stopping. So I pushed for another fight. I went and fought, it was under a Matchroom show up in Birmingham against an amateur a great amateur fella, Tom Stokes. He'd had, I think it was 78 amateurs, won 76 of them or something. He was 8-0 as a professional. They couldn't get no one to fight him. I was training at a Matchroom gym at the time. They offered me to fight for quite good money, so I took it. And I had some belief that I was going to go in and rough him up and fucking do this, do that. Then they said I had to make middleweight because he was middleweight. I'd made super middleweight was 11 stone. I made the weight at 36. It was too much for me, Leach. I mean, I felt the bollocks. It was the first time I had a six-pack in my career. I went in there and got stopped in the second round. Do you know what I mean? He hit me with the jab in the first round. Everything went white and I never recovered. You know, now even in bare knuckle, I get smacked with a punch, everything goes white with not even a second. The split second, you know, my eyes are locked back on the target and I've recovered because I'm at the correct weight. Yeah. At 11 stone, I took a dig, everything went white and it was like looking at light and it just didn't come back. So for a round and a half, I'm actually boxing him for a dazed head. And even when I get stopped, it's on YouTube, you can see it, he hits me with like 2 or 3 shots. He hits me the first one and my hands drop. And I don't remember that, so I must have been out on my feet as such. And then he hits me again, but I remember the second shot hitting me, and then I'll swing back and swing 2 shots, but the referee had already stopped the fight. And he jumps in front of me and he goes, "No, Hilz, I've called it off. I looked at my corner and none of them was complaining, which means I didn't see I wasn't coherently, which means it was a safe decision sort of thing. And that taught me that was like too much. I'd cut too much weight. Yeah, I felt great. I felt fit, looked fit. But punch for punch, Lee, I wasn't fit. If you get what I mean, it's the wrong sort of. It's the wrong sort of conditioning, you know. Yeah. It was. If I was in a diet contest, it was great, but I weren't. I was in a fight, and you can't be that dehydrated. So I'd say Tom was my toughest fight because I was educated on weight cut and everything else, but in the midst of battle, so that was the hardest fight. If you get what I mean, you know. I
was going to go into a little bit later about dieting and making weights, but now we sort of touched on it, may as well go into that now. Sort of, did you used to have to make weight gains and like strip weight and sauna and stuff? I'm not that, like, no disrespect to any fighter that does make the saunas and things like that. I'm just not that lazy, Lee, as in I don't leave my weight there. I walk around at more or less fight weight, maybe 2 kg over fight weight all the time, all year round. I'm 39, Lee. It's different for me. When you're 18, 19, you can decide overnight, I want to lose weight, I want to put weight on like this. Not when you're touching 40, mate. It just don't fucking happen. Not that I'd know, because I don't ever leave it to chance, but I don't believe that my body, or anybody's body at 40, responds the way it does. I don't want to do it for health-wise, cutting weight up and down, you know, that perspective of, I like to know what I've got. All year round, I'm firing at a certain weight. It means when I fight, I'm not going to feel depleted or bloated or anything else. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, there's been a few fighters died, haven't they, from doing that?
Yes.
Going out jogging in sweatsuits, dehydrating themselves.
There you go.
Killed over.
With bare knuckle, I don't like whether people say the gloves cause more damage than not. I don't care what anyone says. When you're getting punched with a glove, you've got some form of protection to when it's bone on bone. Yeah, of course, it's fucking, you know, it's physics. You know what I mean? So there's, I think, weight cut in BKB could be very dangerous, and also for cuts. If you're dehydrated, you've not got enough fluid around your brain and skin, you're getting hit with bare bone. I think cuts, if you're not hydrated, 100% would be more, you know, more noticeable. You know.
What's been your worst injury, either in training or in fighting?
It'll be with fighting. It'll be against Jack Armfield, my second BKB fight. I had literally 5 slashes there, one near the thumb, like above my eyebrow, above my eye, one on my eye, top of my head here, back of my head here, and I think under the other eye that was only within like 43 seconds of the first round. Yeah, it was that thing of when I was boxing, my guard was very good, and I'll take one to give one. My first fight for BKB, I knocked out my opponent in sort of like 40 seconds, so I didn't really know, I wasn't educated on bare knuckled. The second fight, they couldn't get no one to fight Jack Armfield, which was a great pro, 30 pros, fought for the British title. For whatever reasons, he had his licence taken off of him. He went over to BKB. They couldn't get a fight for him. They offered me the right money. I took it. You know, I don't fear no man like that. I've got 4 kids to feed, so money was more important to me. So we took the fight, and I went out with the idea of, right, I'll get Jack's range, because he's very tall. He's a very great boxer, he is. And I thought, I'll get his range so I can get my sort of sights on him. He stepped back and jabbed me because he knows his range just through boxing. He's been boxing since he was 7, sort of thing. and he literally, the punch was like little white flash. I carried on like that. All of a sudden, there's blood everywhere. Everywhere I'm looking, there's blood. And the doctors come over. This was like, say, the first 20 seconds. It was the first punch of the thing, and he done me like 4.5 inch slash with a jab basically, and that set the tone for the fight. The doctor came straight over and said, like, do you want to carry on? I said, yeah, I want to carry on. And he said, like, you've got very limited time, sort of thing. He cut me with the next 2 shots, and then I just bullied him up against the ropes, swing wide, like throw some wild shots. I think I'll get him with a nice body shot. As we step off, he jabs me again, and I think that's when he cuts the other eye. Yeah, it was bad. It was like he was fighting me with knives, Leach. I was fighting with fucking hands.
That's the thing with bare knuckle, isn't it?
It's ruthless.
It's like it's going to open up. All
Listen,
the time,
I needed that in my second fight. I don't believe that if that didn't happen in my second fight, I don't believe I would have had the succession that I've had, and I don't believe I'll be going on to win the British title, my next fight, because, it's the same thing. Barry is all that the skill set of what a professional boxer is, but I'm not going in there for a boxing match, So.
Yeah. How many times a week do you train, and then is that different? But when you're coming up to a fight.
I train 6 days a week. That's not different when I'm out of camp, but all it is the intensity is different, though. And I might train twice a day when I'm in camp.
Twice a day, yeah?
Yeah, depending on the split, if I can get the split long enough, sort of thing.
Is that just on the boxing side of stuff, or like cardio? And
both. Well, cardio's, I do cardio 5 times a week. And then there'd be a split on the days. I don't class running as cardio. If I go for a run, I don't say that's a cardio session done, sort of thing. That's as well. I run. We run Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and a long run on a Sunday. And then we box 5 days a week as well, and strength and conditioning twice.
A lot full on week.
Yeah, it's a pro fighting. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
and again, I won't take no chances at my age. I'll go in there and be able to sort of throw down with a 25-year-old and match him for fitness and, do you get what I mean, work rate, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do your family think of you fighting?
Mixed emotions, especially with bare knuckled. My partner has always loved my fighting and backed me with it all the way through. The professional boxing was taking a toll on the family, just the amount of time out the amount of hours and time away from the family. Yeah. So that was a bit different. And the BKB is totally different. I'm my own boss in BKB. I train myself. I work with what I need to with my life. I spoke to my partner about signing for BKB and taking that journey. It was something that we agreed with, and we said we was going to set the goal for it. So yeah, total support on that side of thing. My mum, dad, it's mixed emotions. They support it when it goes well. When I smash the fuck, they start thinking, maybe you should turn it in. Like anyone, Lee. But it's I'm on my journey for my own reasons. Apart from my family, because obviously we all live under the same house, and they suffer directly with my fighting. It's my own journey, so I don't need to. I don't look for others' grace or praise or anything. You get what I mean? It's just they've got their views and they can have their views, but I do it for my reasons, sort of thing.
Where do you see your future? Sort of, what does it hold for you? Sort of in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, fighting wise, I've got a 3-year contract signed with BKB, so I'll definitely be fighting 2 on 43 for BKB, and titles. I want all the names, I want all the smoke, literally, as the saying goes, I want it all. It's not that I think I'm good enough to be there with them. I just know that my path and journey's gone a certain way, and it ain't over yet. There's a reason why the 3-year contract come my way. There's a reason why I've been put British title level now after my fight. There's a reason why I've stopped my 4 wins, first round knockouts. It's not nothing. It's not saying I've said, right, I'm going to knock them out. No, it's not. The path goes itself. I think that I've learned in life that you can plan for everything in life, but there's a path that is set out for you, no matter what you do. And I believe that becoming, one of the names that he spoke about for years to come in BKB. Yeah, I know it sounds fucking corny, it does, but I don't care.
You've got a vision, though.
Listen, it's Lee, I have, and that's, I don't believe nothing's stopping me, so.
Yeah. So what about when your career ends? Do you think you'd go into coaching or?
Well, obviously I'm the head coach at Box to Burn in Chelmsford, which is boxing. We're teaching boxers from 3 years old to sort of men, professionals, and now it's that is my life. That is my life. Fighting and coaching out at Box to Burn is my life. Fully dedicated to the fighters there, so that will be my future. Coaching the youngsters, coaching other fighters. That will be my time after my time, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah. Is there any advice you can give to anyone that wants to follow that path? And would you advise to go into bare knuckle boxing or not really?
No, I wouldn't advise no one that's got half a talent or of an age where they don't need to rush their progression in a professional fighting career. I don't believe that they should take up BKB. I took it up at 38 because it was the only chance at the big time that I had there, yeah, to be on Sky, to be fighting at the O2 in front of thousands. I'd never got that for all the years of dedication at that time. So if I wanted the big time, then I had to take the chance. You know, anybody else, I'd advise them to stick with your amateur boxing, go through the amateur ranks, go through your professional ranks. If you're just going to do the unlicensed, stick with the unlicensed, be the best that you can be there, you know. And one of the major things, I think I would have succeeded a lot quicker and took the right paths a lot sooner if I wasn't looking for other people's, it's not praise, but like agreement in my journey, you know, people that you care about, close friends, family, that you sort of say, you know, like, I'm going to do this with my career, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I don't know, like, well, I've never done that in my life, or I wouldn't look at it like that. They wouldn't look at it like that, and they've never done it like that because it's not their fucking journey. So don't look for, not even advice. Yeah, be that in that way, for the fighting journey is really selfish. Be fucking selfish, yeah. Not about people's feelings and, you know, what it affects their life, but about your own journey. You need to be so tunnel vision, you get what I'm saying? Get the blinkers on to your goal, yeah. Anybody that starts young enough, Lee, they can dedicate for maybe 5-7 years, become a champion of their discipline. They can retire with their senses, with their good looks, and be called a champion for the rest of their life. Do you get what I mean? Use your brain, you know what I'm saying? It's in any combat sport, you're putting it on, it's life or death. It's not a joke in there, you know, it's really not. And just get in there and get out, you know, achieve, give everything, dedicate yourself fully, don't do nothing by half, give everything, and you'll get everything out of it, Lee, you know?
Yeah, of course. Paul, have you got any other interesting stories you could tell us, or any funny stories for the viewers?
No, not really. The one about getting punched on the nose at 8 years old, that's about the best one I got in my fighting, because like, most people, especially the youngsters, like, why did you get into fighting? I said, well, actually, when I was your age, I walked into a gym, got a nosebleed, and I was so scared for 20 years. They all go, no way. And I say to the little ones, I say to like the 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, I say, you've got more guts than I ever did have, you know, and they think, oh, they watch me on YouTube or on the telly, you know, having these bare knuckle fights. But they've got to realise that they've got more drive and guts than I ever did have at their age. To be in a boxing gym, it's very intimidating at that age, you know what I mean? To be in the boxing gym, working hard, around real hard grinders like myself and my team, they are what, like, that's what drives me. That gives me inspiration, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I never had that at my age, Lee. I just never had that at my age. Do you know?
So just ask you, what's your views on sort of head contact with children? Because I know at the minute there's a bit of a dispute. Some people saying it's good for them, and some are saying, oh, it could damage them. What do you think on that?
I think to the age of I don't even know that we don't actually do that at the club. It gets to a certain thing of if they're going to become amateur, then it's like saying you do your club sport and things like that. But it's all on the basis of the amateur level. So you go for there, which is government set guidelines. Do you get what I mean, Lee? Yeah. We don't have the contact like that. We do a thing of do you know what ribbon sparring is? Do you know what it is? No. It's a good thing for the MMA as well. You connect a ribbon somewhere, and like your connect to your opponent is you reach, touch the ribbon, you snatch the ribbon. Right. It's as if you've been punched. So we do that for the youngsters. I don't know really what my beliefs are. I'd like the scientific facts more than ever. I don't think it's a good thing to judge. I don't like seeing any kids getting that moment of contact. But on the flip side of it, when I lived in Thailand and I see the kids out there it's a different world, you know.
It's quite ruthless.
It's ruthless. Yeah. Ruthless is the word. And like I've got to say, the kids, whether they're brainwashed or not, they really do believe, and they love it. They really do love it. So I don't know what, I don't know, maybe, yeah, I'd like the sort of, in my head I'm thinking 8, 10-year-old for contact as in punched in the face. Do you get what I'm saying, Lee? Like, just that's personal.
I think sometimes it depends on the child itself.
Exactly that.
I mean, you put some kids in there and they're going to get hurt. They don't want to be there, but being pushed by the parents.
100%.
And another one, you know, you get hit 10 times and they're low.
I've seen the little amateurs, some of the boys, that their head movements, they fight like professionals. You know, it's a lot different if you get on my leg. So I've not really got a view about it. I think it's parents' choice, you know, and down to the safetyness of, you know, obviously full sparring gear, big gloves, big head guards, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Paul, can you just run us through your daily training activity?
The way we're in camp there at the minute? Yeah, maybe in
so
camp,
like,
'cause we're
from
in
when you
camp
get
at
up
the
out
minute.
of bed till you go to bed at night.
Right, so I survive on about 5 hours sleep due to 4 children and working my ass off in camp and everything else. My daily routine, so I'm up at say 5 o'clock if I'm lucky, sort of thing, maybe 4:45. Straight away I'll get in a freezing cold shower for a minimum of a minute and a half. That's my ritual every day. Up then, that's it. I'm awake. I'm ready for it. I go and train my fighters that I need to, whatever work they've got to do. You know, whatever goes on. I'm fasting at the minute. This is in camp. I fast, so I'm roughly doing 18 to 20 hour fast every day. So obviously I wouldn't have no breakfast. I'd just be running from that. After I train my fighters and we do whatever we've got set for them, it'll be my training. It will be whatever we're doing that day, sparring. If it'll be running in the morning. Whatever way I'll change it up. It might be once a day, twice a day. What we do: pads, bag work, foot drills, sometimes reaction, sometimes defensively. Obviously, BKB is a bit different with your defences. It's not the same as gloves, so that is an aspect we have to bring into the training. I'll try and get all that done. Then by about 1, 2 o'clock, that'll be my first meal. I'll have my first meal. Then I'll have a split. I'll have a little break, and then it'll be training in the evening, late as possible, sort of thing. Due to one, we've got to get used to this 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock show because of the American time slot. We've now got to fit in on the pay-per-view. And 2, just because of the split, if I've trained in the morning, I like the body to recover type thing. Before the day, then we go back, we get our nut down for a few hours, and then it's a grand old day the next day. On the weekends, a little bit different. Saturday's my rest day, total rest, eat a lot of shit, just get the calories in me, pick up what I've sort of depleted the body in. Obviously, like I say, I fast through the week. Saturday I still fast, but it's just that when I do eat, it's not structured clean food, it's just what I want as and when I want through the hours that I'm eating. Then on the Sunday, I'll hit long run, 6 miles minimum, but at a slow, steady pace. We call it active recovery. So that's pretty much my split, mate. My training.
Just a quick question for myself here. So when you actually train like pad work and stuff,
Yep.
do you actually condition your knuckles for the bare knuckle, or do you still train in gloves and etc.?
No, that's a bit of a myth, Lee. I see these boys, they've got their hand in sand and they say soak it in vinegar, petrol, whatever the fuck spirits it is and all this bollocks. I believe that's a bit of a myth. Even boxing, if you wrap your hands, tape your hands, 16-ounce gloves. We train in 16-ounce gloves there all the time. One, when you take them 16 hands off, your fucking hands, you know what it's like when you go to 10s on fight night. Without nothing on, your hands are like fucking lightning. 2, for protection, Lee, and 3, for protection of others. If you're sparring, you don't want to be cutting people up, banging people up, getting concussion in sparring. I believe most damage, people that get punching, things like that, I actually do believe it's in your training that it's done. I don't think it's actually on the fight night, I don't. So I don't think that you can't mimic it. If you have done a good camp protecting your hands, on fight night your hands, they'll be all right. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I actually do, coming away from that, I do hit the bag with nothing on my hands, but I do think that's years of wrapping and taping. Do you get what I'm saying? My hands might touch wood somewhere, I'll find some wood somewhere. My hands have been good to go, you know what I mean? Like, I've had no injuries in 5 bare knuckle fights. So yeah, there's nothing conditioning wise really that we do Pacific, you know.
Can you tell us about any upcoming fights you've got, Paul?
Well, we've worked our way up now with the BKB, Lee. We was pushing for the British title. Chris Tresize had the British title. And that was the fight that we was really gunning for. Me and Chris spoke, mutual respect between opponents, but that was the fight I was pushing for. With the lockdown, Chris's team weren't happy with taking the fight behind closed doors, so I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight for the British title. BKB said to me, I'm contracted for that British title fight, so even when the arena's open, if I was to fight behind the closed doors, it wouldn't affect my sort of path going on for the British title. I wanted to fight Lee, so I took a fight. We fought on a pay-per-view show, got a first round stoppage on that one. Then I sort of said to BKB, right, if we've got another lockdown show, I want it, it's got to be for the British title this time. They contacted Productionz, spoke to him, they couldn't set the deal right, so they stripped him of his title, which then made the lightweight BKB British title vacant. I'm #1 contender due to where I've got myself, and obviously me and Chris was due to fight. There isn't much, I'm not being muggy to anybody at my weight, but this is how it was worded to me. There's not much top level out there, Lee, as such. There's a few people that have my weight coming through at the minute, but obviously I'm 5 fights into BKB, which is quite experienced for BKB. So they and another champion somehow got together. It was the flyweight champion, which is Barry Jones. He's BKB British flyweight champion. He's ex-professional as well. He's fought Kell Brook, Liam Smith, and that level of opponents. He's up there. A professional glove that was. He's had 3 BKB fights, knocked them all out in the first round, and like I say, he's won the British title due to that. So it's probably the hardest fight that they could have found. That's the truth of it. It went in, like the way it was worded to me when the fight was sold to me was you coming into the Productionz fight, you know, Productionz was the underdog due to your activity, you know, and sort of you're on your journey, you're driving for it. The fight I'm about to offer you is going to turn you into the underdog within one conversation sort of thing. That's how it was worded to me, Lee. There's a few people in BKB that we hold, say, the top 4 or 5. And Barry Jones's name's up there. You know, I'm not too good with all that record shit and people's history. I don't really care for it all. No disrespect to any fighters, I just don't. But he's always been put up there with people that I respect their views and I know they know their shit. His name's always flying about as the top level of BKB. So when his name was brung up, I knew he was instantly. I said yeah to the fight straight away before even fucking really thinking about it, to be fair, because that's it, that's my goal, like I say. That British title, I don't care if I've got to fight King Kong, 10 King Kongs, you know, it's mine. And his name come up and I said, yeah, I want it. And then, yeah, looking at Barry's glove boxing career and things like that, he's something special. I'm really buzzing, that's my next fight, I'm buzzing for that. I'll be fighting him for the British title on the 27th of March. So we've got 4 weeks more or less to the day, and I can't wait there. You know, it's been my biggest test in my fighting career. Barry's a southpaw as well, and like he's born and bred. He's got a great amateur, great professional, and great BKB record. You know, and when I beat him, because I will beat him, I'm up there. You know, my name's going to be said with the top people in BKB, Lee, and that's what I'm pushing for. That's my next fight, mate.
Good. Is there anything else you want to speak about, Paul?
No, just if it's okay, Lee, I'd like to mention my sponsors, because my sponsors, they really do a massive like support with my family, training, and the team already, and it is really like, I can't, anyway, it sounds like I'm sort of just blowing smoke. I am, because used boys and companies really do help team already out. And we're on the base of, I want to thank first of all Total Waste Management, the support they give me through the last lockdown, getting the gym to my house and sorting it out, that was unbelievable. I want to thank you. We've got Smoke and Bubbles 420 that's been with me for a long time. Check him out on Insta for what he does. We've also got Black Sheep Dispensary. Check them out on Insta for what they do. We've also got Train With Intent, which is my strength and conditioning coach. And the change in our camp that's since he's been on the team has been massive. Anybody that wants to sort of add another leg into their fighting, get on them as well. We've got CMOS Co, which is my CMOS gel. They're good sponsors. Their supplement that they supply, if you Google CMOS gel and find out the nutritional side of what they bring, you'll see the benefits of it. Hit them up if you need it. Box to Burn, the gym that I work out of in Chelmsford. Obviously you can Google them and find out what they're about. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Paul.
No, thank you.
Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it, mate. I'm all good. Thank you.
Thank you.